Hi, welcome to Loop It About. I'm Alicia, also known as AK47 on Ravelry.
I am Liz, also known as Lizzie215 on Ravelry.
And it's a beautiful day here in Seattle.
Unfortunately,
It's still hot.
I'm so ready for fall.
Yeah, I don't know how long this poncho is going to last. I'm going to try to wear it through this podcast. But we're getting good sun out the window, and I might roast.
I give her half an hour.
But I thought you guys might want to see it.
Her cocoon. It looks beautiful.
I really like it. It's lightweight, considering it's 300 grams.
Yeah.
It doesn't feel heavy. I put a lot of it over my shoulders, so a lot of the weight is up here. But yeah, I feel really constricted, even though it's not like it's not cocooned right now. It's just as a poncho. But man, I can see how this keeps you warm. Like your core just keeps all the heat in.
I'm kind of bummed that I'm not going to finish mine in time for fall because that's like the perfect fall weather thing.
So I have
mine will be spring
sweater,
next year.
Yeah, I have one sweater that
Hopefully.
I wear in fall and spring here, and it's a fingering weight. And I really just need to make more fingering weight items because those are the ones that I wear.
Yep.
I don't know about how you guys do it, but worsted weight or chunky sweaters don't really get warm because I have really awesome jackets. Because in Seattle we layer a lot, and if you have a sweater on, it's probably gonna rain here.
My problem is the fact that it rains. Like if we lived somewhere where it was cold and
dry cold would be good.
It would be
for
good.
heavier sweaters.
But
So
no,
really,
we live here where it rains, and so
it's quite damp. As you might know, I don't know if you've heard this about Washington State, especially the western side of it.
Yes, exactly. So yeah.
So yeah, fingering weight is the way to go. I'm trying to gear some of my future knits on things that I'm actually gonna wear. Do you wear a lot of your knits?
No, because I haven't really knit myself all that much stuff.
She gives away everything.
I make a lot of baby blankets, or I make a lot of stuff for my minions.
Or white elephants at Christmas.
Or white elephants for Christmas. If I make something for myself and I don't like it, it ends up in my family's white elephant
and
pile.
It definitely gets loved.
It gets loved, and I mean, it's fun.
They love seeing your knits at your white elephant.
Exactly.
All right, let's see. Do you have anything finished? Did you get any Hexie puffs done?
No, it's been a busy week.
Yeah, mine's been busy in works in progress, so I don't have any conclusions or recommendations.
Yeah, I was gonna try because this is now 2 weeks that I haven't done a Hexie puff, and that's a little long.
Mm-hmm.
I will finish one by next week. No, I've been working on Minion number 1's sweater. Here, let me put
It looks big.
It is big.
She's gotten far. Have you gotten through your first skein?
Not yet. Haven't gotten through my first
Look
skein.
how far a skein has gone for a 6-year-old.
Yeah, for a 6-year-old. So I need to do 12 inches. Last I measured, I was like at 7. Yeah. So I have 5 more inches to go.
So what do you think? Unisex still?
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah.
And then so last time you guys saw me, I hadn't dropped the sleeves yet. Well, now I dropped the sleeves. And about 7 inches on the body, 5 more inches to go.
So squishy.
Yes. And so
how do you like the knit?
The knit's
now
fun now.
You don't have any more lace because she dropped off the sleeves and she's only doing lace on the sleeves.
Right, yeah. So now it's just it's been turned into nice fun. Yeah. It's been turned into nice fun TV knitting.
Look at that. That's gonna be pretty when it blocks out.
Yeah, it's been turned into nice fun TV knitting.
Mm-hmm. So what have you been watching with it?
Nothing interesting. No, nothing.
No sci-fi?
No sci-fi or fantasy? No. Well, no. Rick and I have been catching up on the Arrow, The Flash, and Legends. So all in the DC world, if anyone's into comic books.
I stopped watching the Arrow. I definitely stopped watching The Flash. Anything that goes kind of into time travel, or there's too many. They had too many plot lines going on. Like here were 3 of the same character, just in different lands.
Different Earths.
Oh, I'm so over that. It's like I can't keep up with
I kind of like it. So so we've been.
You have a husband that really likes it.
Yeah, I have a husband that's really.
Both my husband and I hate that time travel thing.
No. So been watching that. And Supergirl. Supergirl throws in there too.
Okay. Do you watch that with your daughter?
She likes Supergirl.
Okay.
We do try to watch it with her because she gets upset if we watch it. My daughter's only 3.
Without her.
Yeah, without her. But the nice thing is that she doesn't really understand like plots. Each one's just her. Each show is just individual. There's a bad guy that's got to be defeated, and then that's good. So she doesn't. She
doesn't really know that she skipped a few.
Exactly. The underlying, the the whole
The long
season
game
story
is still
arc.
Yeah.
She doesn't understand.
Okay.
Yeah.
That works out. She just wants to see the cape.
She wants to see the cape, and she wants to see the Supergirl defeat evil and save the day, as she calls it. Is Supergirl gonna save the day, mommy? So
That's awesome.
Yeah.
Is that all you're working on? Oh.
No, one more thing.
So are we calling this a thesis for you?
This might be another thesis. I'm gonna try to keep up. I am only making the medium as you guys are posted large. I mean, I'm already behind. They're on Clue 2.
So
They're
we're
released
looking
Clue
at the
2.
Mystery knit along.
Yes,
the Lego.
Yes, this is the mystery shawl knit along. So I have started the picot border. I'm making the medium, so I think I have to cast on something like 450 or 52 stitches.
Wait, you were making the in-between last time we talked. What
Right.
happened?
Well, somebody else on the forums, always check the forums because somebody else is probably, if you have a question.
I like everybody else to get ahead so they can
Yeah.
find all the problems, ask all the questions.
Exactly. So Alicia had pointed out that somebody else had asked if they could just add a repeat, which was what I was going to do. And Lily Go responded and she said, no, with this shawl pattern, you could not just add a repeat to make it slightly bigger.
Because I think in the end where her decreases are going to happen, or where the pattern repeats sit, you're not going to be able to decrease with the rest of the group nicely, I'm thinking.
So either way, so I went stash diving and found a yarn that would fit in my color scheme.
So which part of the colorway did you pick to add?
It's in the like brownie orangey color. So after the bright colors, I didn't bring it. I'm sorry. You guys will see it as I knit this along. But it was actually a skein that Kim, Arts Lover, had sent.
Okay.
Yeah.
From ZK. So
So
she sent me home with all kinds of yarn for Liz.
Yes, and one of those was one of the Sherlock mini sets for Mode Knit yarn.
Yeah.
I can't. This one was like the knocker one. I can't remember the title, the name.
She'll get back to me.
Yeah, we'll find it. But it fit in my color scheme.
That's awesome.
So I was like, sweet. And it's like so I had
gonna work.
I had 550 yards, and in order to make the medium, I needed 600. Well, thank goodness, because this was like a larger mini skein set. This had 90 yards to it, so that gave me 640. So I have enough for the 600 plus extra in case I don't meet the nice thing about Lily Go's pattern, at least from what I've seen, she tells you how much yarn you will have used.
Your percentages.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So cool. Hopefully it'll work out. How about you? How's yours coming along?
So I'm doing the large. So I needed to cast on 550. I've done a lot. I finished Clue 1, and I've started in on Clue 2.
Ooh, you've already started with the beads.
I've got some beads in there. I can't tell which. I think this is the nice side.
Pretty.
So I've started in. Can you see the beads are kind of like a. Maybe this is the right side. Maybe that's better. There we go. Now you can see them. So lots of picots.
Yes.
So for every picot, you've added like 2 stitches.
Right.
So,
but you're actually knitting 6.
Yeah. It's convoluted as a little task to do at the beginning. I didn't mind it once I found my rhythm. Yeah. Have you found a rhythm yet?
I have found a rhythm.
So you can do other things can happen around you while you're doing it. Until you get to that point, it can be very fiddly. And once you can recognize what it's supposed to look like after or during each picot, you start to move. But you don't fly.
No, you don't fly.
I think I did 250 picots in one day. And I was just gunning for the end. I was just like, I need to get done with this stupid cast on. Because that's your row 1.
Yeah, let's see. I'm on.
1 is just picots.
I didn't want to keep on counting, so I've put stitch markers every 30. So I'm 30, 60, 90, 120.
Okay. You're a fourth of the way there. A little over a quarter.
A little over a quarter. And you know what? It's just, for me, it's just a nice, easy project. You just keep on doing it.
So you're liking it's not about the finished object, it's the process.
I like the process. I like the process.
Okay.
It gives me a nice mental challenge after just the stockinette stitch that I'm working on the sweater.
I did hear that most of the beads are going to be in this edging.
So the next round?
Your edging goes for 24.
So that's round 2 though. Or Clue 2.
Clue 2, yeah.
Clue 2.
Through Clue 2, so you have 1 bead row in Clue 1, and you have 5 bead rows in Clue 2.
Okay.
And then by the end of Clue 2, we'll be done with the edging. So it started at this picot, and it's gotten really pretty. It kind of looks like a scallop, kind of. I'm trying to spread a bunch out. I have a lot of stitches on a short cord. She says to put it on a 24-inch cord. I'm at 32, and it's too many. I mean, look at it's bunched up.
Oh, good. I'm on 40. So
yeah,
I should be okay.
Stick with big for a while. I'd rather be on something big and then reduce it down than to have all of this.
Yeah, yours is bunched up a lot.
It's really bunched up. So I'm trying to spread it out on the needles for you, but there's really not a lot of room on there. So I'm really stoked. I'm really enjoying this knit. There are no rest rows. You're doing knits and purls throughout. There's not many purl two together through the back loop yet. So that's a happy note right there. Yeah, it's got a really nice rhythm. There's probably like 25 stitches per repeat, over 550 stitches. But as long as you're putting the beads in, they actually act pretty well as markers. So I don't put any markers into my lace because I feel like it slows me down. I put them on the first cast on every 100, so I didn't have to keep counting. But now that I have beads in, I'm just reading the knitting, and it's really lovely. Really lovely. I'm really enjoying that.
Cool. I'm excited to get there someday. So
what was the brand of yarn you're using?
I'm using Chromatique.
Okay.
It came from our Fiberista when we were part of the Fiberista Club.
And that's a gradient set that you're doing.
It's a gradient set, yeah. It's not a gradient ball. I know. I think what she recommended or the kits they sold as a full gradient. Yeah. Mine's a gradient set. But you know what? I'm stash diving. I'm trying to.
So are you gonna blend like?
No.
Okay, you're just gonna go stark to the next color.
Yeah.
At the end of the row, you're changing.
Yeah, I'm not trying to knit too. I think that might mess up. No.
It's not fun to do in lace.
No.
And it's not fun to tuck in those ends in lace.
I guess
to be completely honest.
And because it's fingering, I could do a Russian join though.
That's true.
And in single ply, Russian join would actually probably work really well.
I think if I was doing that, what she's doing, I think I would still do that weaver's maneuver where you fold your yarn in half so that it makes a loop, right? When you get close to like 9 inches left, fold it in half and you start knitting 2 at a time, and then your new yarn goes through the loop of the one that you made with your current yarn.
Huh? I will have to look that up.
Hold it double until you get to your end. But I mean, you do have a blend, and you have holding 2 yarns for probably that long, right?
Oh, I might have to check that out. I've never.
I'll show you some things that I've done with it.
Mm-hmm.
I do it all the time now.
Okay, yeah, show it to me.
I use it in my scrap blanket, so
even
I'll bring
better.
My scrap blanket down.
Find me a video.
Oh, I think I still have the instructions.
Okay.
It came with a pattern that both I saw it on the Knit Girls. They enabled me. I picked it up, and as soon as I got it in the mail, I cast it on. And I'm trying to think. I will edit this so all the information will show up. What I'm talking about. It was named after the Norwegian rainbow.
Okay, I don't know. That sounds neat. I like learning new.
I really like that because at the end you see all your ends, right? You block it. Your ends are sticking out. You just cut them.
Oh, don't have to weave them in.
No weaving in because you're weaving in while you're knitting.
Oh, let's do. I want this. Let me do this.
It's brilliant.
I want this.
Mm-hmm. And since my scrap blanket is garter. Mm-hmm. Just the ridges from garter kind of just mess with your eye anyway, so you barely notice it. Ooh. I really like it.
Yeah.
And if you don't mind, I don't mind when there's some melding of colors.
No, this would be perfect.
Yeah, exactly. So that was the mystery knit along. I cast on a few things. I got small progress done because I was really focused on that lace. I worked on my sock. That was out of fishnets. That's her label. And it could be her label from a long time ago because we got this in 2015. But I've made a small progress. The last you saw it, I had ribbing done. And I've started in on...
Oh, pretty. Pretty colorway.
Yeah, this colorway is pretty. There is no red. Remember we were talking about last time?
Yeah,
Maybe
it
it'll
was pink,
gradiate
yeah.
or something. No, I went straight to that pink. Unless that's red. I don't know.
Yeah, no, that's more like a fuchsia.
Might not be total Super Big Boy. But that's okay. Sean is loving this colorway so far, and this is his sock. So I am doing Never Lost Together, and it came from the book Minnesota 52. This is Megan's pattern. Corey also has a sock pattern in that book. I modified.
Yeah, of course you did.
I'm not afraid to say it. It's the same modification I did on my Wizard of Oz socks that you saw, where she's calling for twisted stitches, and I just changed it to cables. And then you have a row of like 40 cables in a row. There were cables across the entire thing. And that one, that's getting, it hurts, and it's slow. So I might be doing, so this is like 3 chevrons make this pattern. I think the next section of chevrons is going to be 1 chevron, and then the next section 3 chevrons, and then 1, so that I don't have to keep doing 3 chevrons together. If I just do the 1 chevron in like my next section, I won't have a row of that many cables back to back to back to back. Yeah, this is slowing me down a lot. And I think it's just because I have to decide how it's going to look. I thought about going 3, 2, 1, 1, 1, 1, 1. But I think I'm going to go 3, 1, 3, 1, 3, 1. And hopefully, I think it'll only make this round done twice on the leg. And then I only have it on half, right, when I get to the foot. So I'm hoping that reduces the pain and the slowness of it. But it's pretty. And I think it's going to look really pretty when it's done. Sean asked, well, can it just be a shorty sock? And I said, nope, I want to use more yarn than that.
Yeah.
This ball needs to go because it's got pink in it, and I don't really want all the scraps. So it's going to be a taller sock. And then the second thing I was working on, since I already finished one FO for the birthday bash D-stash that Annetta is hosting, I decided to cast on one more thing. And I thought it would be done this month, and now I don't know. It's on big needles. So you can kind of see.
That is big needles.
Yeah, you can kind of see the cable. Isn't that pretty? So these are the honeycomb mitts, and they're by Tin Can Knits because I'm doing it for the birthday bash D-stash, and the theme of that is Tin Can Knits. This is worsted weight. I think you're gonna like this one. Seattle Sky Dye Works. And it's the fairy colorway. Fairy as in the boat, not fairy as in woodland.
Woodland creature with wings.
So one side is stockinette, and the other side has the cable. And the cable's going to sit right on your hand. And then it's going to be a fingerless mitt. So still with the commission, right, I have lots of mitts to do. So that's the skein of yarn. You can kind of see there's some gray in there, some light blue and some dark blue.
I love that colorway.
It's almost like the ocean, right? It's what happens when the ferry's going. It's kind of like the feel of this. You get a lot of break in the water. It's really, I get mesmerized on a ferry. I just sit outside and just watch the water moving around the boat. And this reminds me of that a lot. I didn't realize it was worsted until I looked at the label and said, wow, that's weird. There's only that much yards? That's weird. That should be way more, like double that. So you have 220 yards.
That's still a lot.
In 125 grams. So this is a pretty...
That's pretty
hefty. It's probably Aran. And actually there's another mitt. If I only use 50% of this, which I don't know. I don't know how much I'm supposed to use. But if I only use 50%, then I think I want to do those lambing mitts from Tolt.
Yes.
Which is her local yarn store. How lucky is she?
Yeah.
So lucky. So I started out on US 5s for the ribbing. And then you jump right up to US 7s for the hands. So this should be flying. And actually I've only sat down with it twice. I did the ribbing in one go, and then it took me a while to go search for my 7 DPMs. about DPNs? Are they something you enjoy?
They
That's a
are.
good reaction.
They are. If it's not a travel project, I can't.
Okay.
DPNs do not travel well because I have kids. I'm horrible with bags. Things get tossed around.
They get poking through.
They
things.
get poking through things.
Well, your fancy bags are Ziploc,
or
so her stuff pokes through Ziploc pretty easy.
or they it's not really that they're poking through. The stitches fall off because they move and stuff.
Yeah.
And I'm not always very good at having, stitch knit stopper thingies.
Well, I really like the shorter DPNs. And if you're going with shorter DPNs, that means your needles are taking up most of the stick.
Yeah.
Right? So yeah, I have that same problem.
Yeah, so no, I like DPNs are good. That's how you do small circumferences and stuff. But again, if I'm using DPNs for any project, that project just sits at home. And I don't take it with me anywhere.
Yeah. And she does a lot of her knitting at work at lunch.
Right? Yes, at lunch.
So she likes to have travel projects.
Yes.
Where I do a lot of my knitting at home. So my bags don't really leave the house all that often. If they leave the house, they go in our van. And while I'm waiting for Sean to meet me somewhere, like after work when we go climbing, I'll get some knit rows in. But they're pretty safe in there. I'm not stuffing them into another bag.
Mine are perpetually being stuffed into a diaper bag or something else. So
a pack of some sort.
Yeah.
Well, I think that was all my knitting. Mostly works in progress. And I'm showing off an FO from last week. Yeah, that's happy. So how about we're excited? How's your Hamilton book going?
I am 3/4 of the way done.
Nice.
If you've ever seen the Hamilton book, it's like 2,000 pages. So, and I don't get that much time to read because I always have to make the choice between knitting and reading, and usually I choose knitting. So, but
how's the writing?
The writing
is it keeping you in?
No,
involved?
the writing's great. I love history. It's awesome. It's a big book. Yeah, but I'll get through it. Again, it's all about the journey.
Yeah. I finished a couple of books. Well, mostly because these are audiobooks. And husband and I listen to audiobooks before bed. And Sean is a night owl where I'm not. So this makes him go to bed when I want to go to bed. And then he stays up listening to the podcast or the audiobook while I can fall asleep. And most of the time, the books that we listen to are really easy to catch right back up with the story. They don't move really fast. So I finished Bone Shaker from the last time you saw me, and that's by someone I don't know.
She'll put it in the
It'll
notes.
be there. You know right now. And the second book in the series. Okay, so there's 7 books in that series.
Oh wow!
So the first book takes place in Seattle. I'm very familiar with all the places and landmarks they talk about. And then the second one follows a character from Texas, Louisiana, and she's actually making her way to Tacoma, which is, 30 miles from Seattle. So remember, this was steampunk. So it's set in the past, and this is actually around the Civil War is when this is occurring. So you kind of, you're not getting anything fantasy related so far, right? So there's trains, there's horses, there's balloons for transportation.
Like the Hindenburg?
Like the Hindenburg. And they actually mention the Hindenburg in there, and they talk about how they've changed the gas.
Zeppelins.
So yeah, Zeppelin travel. There we go.
Zeppelin.
That's the word we're looking for.
I love that term.
Right? So it's really fun to have it set kind of, Wild Wild West style. They're on a train for most of this one. The characters are interesting. You don't get an overlap of the characters from the first book and the second book until the last half a chapter. So then we didn't realize that we jumped to book 7 for book 3. So we were really confused. And then Lincoln is in this one where he got shot but he didn't die. So that's kind of a twist plot for changing history wise. It's good. I don't know. I don't know how to describe it because I kind of
sorry, the cat just fell off.
She was going for the table and missed. She fell off.
She did land on her feet though.
She's good. She's good. We don't have carpet over there, so that was kind of a bump. Yeah, she's good. She's getting old, this poor little cat, and they found out she was sick, so she's on some meds. Maybe
the meds are making her loopy.
Yeah, I'm gonna give her more things to jump to from the windowsill after we're done. Yeah, so I finished that. We got back into Off to See the Off to Be a Wizard, I believe, is the first book in the series. And the second one is Spell... Gosh, I'm so unprepared. Because we started listening to it the other day. So, we started a book series last year. We got through the first book. Okay, it's gonna sound like it's fantasy because I use the word wizard, but there's nothing fantastical about it. It's, yeah, I can't really describe it. Okay, I'll try to describe it without giving too much away. You're following the main character, and he's kind of obnoxious. When you first meet him, I'm just like, don't care. But the other characters that get involved with him later is very entertaining. On top of the fact that the guy who's doing the audiobook is amazing. You know how... So I could listen to an audiobook, and if I don't like the narrator, I'll go read the book. This guy's amazing. Like, we've looked up everything he has done in his repertoire, and we're just going to start listening to the books that he narrates, whether we want to listen to the book.
What if it's a crappy book?
I know. No, he's that good. He's that good. He does all the voices. It's really, really good. So the premise is you're following the main character, and it's kind of Matrix style. So he's found a file that adjusts every aspect of your life. That going from your height to your bank account to, like, so you are, like, in a sense, in the Matrix, right? But this is a different take on this kind of idea. Well, he decides, he's gotten kind of into trouble for finding this file and adjusting some things. And so now he kind of has to make an escape. And he's decided, well, if I can adjust all these things in this time period, just think how awesome I would be if I was in medieval times. So he does do a time travel, right? Because you can adjust the date as well, right? In this file. And so you see how this progresses. As in, he's gone back in time, and let's see if he can make it as a wizard. So that's where it comes in, Off to Be a Wizard. And yeah, it's really good. I really enjoyed it. We got into the second book, and it took a different maneuver, we'll say. And we weren't really getting into that story. So we started that last year, and just last week, Sean says, hey, we have like 3 hours left in this book. Why don't we just finish it? And I said, well, because we didn't really like it. But we got back into it. I think we just needed a break between books. I think I need that. And yeah, we just finished it last night. So, gosh, I can't think what the title is, but I've already put the title up, so I don't know why I'm racking my brain. But yeah, so those 2 books got done. I did not go back to the Neil Stevenson novel that I said I wasn't going to anyway. Nope, it still hasn't brought me back in. I found a new book to read that's a real book. So it's called Pioneer Doctor, Story of a Woman's Work by Marie Grania. Really like it. So this is the one that I kind of mentioned a couple podcasts ago that I saw at a yarn store, and I put a note on it saying, can I borrow your book? And they said, yes, you can borrow the book as long as you pass it on to somebody else when you're done. So when you hear this and you get my review of it and you say you want to check it out and you could wait for snail mail to send it to your house, let's do it. But that's my promise. I have to pass it on to another person. I like this. It's a biography about a woman back in the late, so I think the story starts in 1860, and it's about a doctor a lady doctor. And you know, it has brought up some aspects that we don't, I don't know if we're taking things for granted as educated women, but there was a time when women weren't allowed into certain fields, and our field in general, gosh, lady engineers didn't happen for a long time. I'm super grateful that I was able to get into the line of work I wanted to do. But this woman talks about the struggle about getting into medical school. So at the time, women were really not allowed to take anatomy classes because they're so fragile, right? Your woman constitution couldn't handle it. And most of the teachers and professors were men, and they didn't feel comfortable teaching women about doctoral things, right? So it starts off, her husband is a doctor in Iowa, and she was a school teacher up until she got married. So I don't know if you know this, but school teachers were single, and once you got married, you couldn't teach anymore. So she had a life, right, as a school teacher, and then all of a sudden she couldn't do it anymore. And so she started helping out in her husband's doctor's office, where she did a lot of nursing kind of duties, and she decided, hey, this could be a passion for me. I really enjoy the work, and I want to do more and learn more. I'd like to go to school. Well, in Iowa, they had banned women from going to medical school. A decade or two before she wanted to get in, a woman became a doctor, and then the school that accepted her and educated her got banned from their medical groups throughout the entire state. So they kind of lost their credentials in a way, and for a while. So knowing that she couldn't get educated in Iowa, they decided to move to Chicago so she could get an education in Illinois. So it starts off there, talks about her becoming a doctor, getting her certificates, fully fledged, she's good to go, and she starts to partner with her husband, who was, at the time, very supportive. At the time. So it goes through her leaving, you know, the very affluent environment in which she grew up and the cities in which she lived in. She even went down to Louisiana and worked with her husband down there for a while. They came back up to Chicago, and then from that point, she decided, you know, I'm just not getting the respect at all here, and I think I need to move on. So the opening scene is her going to Salt Lake City, Utah. So she's going out west. And at this time, this is very pioneer, right? Not a lot of women work at this time, and women who want to work in the medical field have a really hard time just starting a practice, getting in on a practice, and even becoming anything, right? Having any kind of responsibility. So it's very much hearkened the thought of, man, I've had it really easy as a minority and as a woman minority to do the things that I have done. We're standing on very strong shoulders of other women, and I wish women wanted to be more aggressive in getting higher things, right? I feel like sometimes the battle shouldn't be over. Like, I feel like I may not be doing enough for women for the next generation. I want them to stand on my shoulders, just like I've been empowered by the women that have come before me. So I'm really touched by this book. It's written by the granddaughter of this doctor. She had been growing up with all these stories and tales, and she thought they were myths. You know, they're just exaggerated stories by her mother about her grandmother. And finally she sat down and went back and found all kinds of information in newspapers and journals and, you know, things that her grandmother had done. So I think it's got a feel where she's super connected to this person. It wasn't that she sought this person out and thought, oh, this is a great person to stay. No, this is someone in her family that did great things. It's just a pioneer. So she ended up in Montana. So this is about a small Montana town that she ended up in. And she did amazing things. This was during vaccine time. Before vaccines happened, like these were the first ones doing the science, right? So this is really cool. Love this book so far. It is more of a historical fiction because she has all these stories and all these accounts, but she also wanted to make it a storyline, you know, so you're following her through her life. So I'm really enjoying it so far. I'm not very far in. I get a few pages in on my bus ride to the gym sometimes. Yeah, so Pioneer Doctor, if anybody wants to join in, or if anybody wants this book when I'm done, it should pick up pretty soon. I think I'm gonna start spending more time reading an actual book. How about you? You have a timeline on your Hamilton. Are you gonna make that?
I just have to finish Hamilton before the play comes in February. That's 7 months away. Yes, I should make it.
I think you're on it.
3/4 of the way. 3/4 of the way. But we did go see a play. Me and my first minion went to go see The Wiz.
The Wiz, yeah. So, Wizard of Oz.
Yes.
In a different vernacular.
At the Moore Theater, put on by a high school. So it's a program for underprivileged kids.
Yep.
To, you know, to give them something to do over the summer.
Works on the sets.
Okay.
At the Moore Theater for that.
Yeah. To give them something to do over the summer. Oh my gosh. So impressed with these high school kids.
Right.
The show was awesome.
The
talent, the everything. I did not expect it to be 3 hours long. I thought it was a high school play. It was gonna be like 2. No.
So did she make it?
She's
4.
Yeah.
Right?
She's almost 4.
Almost 4.
She did. There were, a lot of questions. There were some, scary points.
Okay.
But she really enjoyed the music.
Okay.
And man, I have had that stupid ease on down the road
Stuck
in my head all weekend.
Oh man. So if you're in the area, if you're a Seattle person, because the Moore Theater's in Seattle.
Right. Well,
Yeah.
no, I think they were only performing
So
this weekend though.
Oh darn it!
It's on second in Virginia.
Second in Virginia. Oh yeah. I can see it in my mind now.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, go out and see some theatrical stuff.
Yeah, go out and see some theatrical stuff, or especially if you can support something like that for the underprivileged kids to do stuff in the summer.
And don't write off those high schoolers.
No, man, I'm pretty sure I will see one of those high schoolers on something.
Yeah, they're gonna make big waves.
That's
cool. What else have you been up to? Anything crazy?
No, nothing else crazy.
I've gotten back into climbing. Well, training for climbing. Because we were out for a month, as I mentioned last time. Sean is not 100%, but we feel like he's not gonna re-injure himself at this point. So we're going to our gym, and we're gonna be gone for October. So I want to give you some heads up that in another month or so,
no podcast.
You're gonna have a break for a while.
Yeah, you do not have to look at our ugly mugs for a little bit.
We haven't decided whether we're bouldering or rope climbing, so that's still up in the air. And until we figure that out, we're not sure where we're going. If we're gonna boulder, we're going back to Bishop down in California. It's a long drive. We usually do it in about 2.5 days. We spread it out. It's 19 hours from here. But we go the long way, which is more like 23 or 24 hours of driving. So that's one option. If not, we're going east. Because I haven't climbed in Montana yet. And we found some stops along the way back from Minnesota that we kind of really like. So we're going to gauge how far we want to drive and then what we're actually doing. How about you? You have any trips coming up that I should know about?
No trips. Very boring life here.
No knitting life here. Nothing's boring when you're knitting.
Yeah, no, just, Minion 1 will be back in school here in a little bit. Next week.
She goes to an all-Spanish school, right?
Yes, she goes to an all-Spanish school. And so
now, are they Spain Spanish or South America Spanish? Central America Spanish?
South America Spanish.
Okay. And you're Central America, right?
I'm Central American Spanish, yeah.
Yeah. So do you have to go over anything that is different in your
Yeah, but
dialect?
I mean, it's like the difference of you speaking with a British person. There's a couple of different slang. I mean, you can
the
still
slang is different.
Yeah, you can still understand each other. It's not like it's a huge difference.
So when you speak to your daughter, do you correct her with Panama slang, or do you just let her go with what she's learning?
Well, they don't really teach slang in the school, which is nice.
Okay. It's gonna come though, right?
And then we just
Does this go
kids.
Through
no, it only
elementary school?
No, it only goes
It's
through
only preschool.
It's only preschool.
Okay.
And so yeah, it's just the same way that we tell her there's different ways to say, different adjectives mean the same, similar, same thing in Spanish. She used to say, my teacher says this, and I'm like, that's one way of saying it, but you can also say it this way.
Okay. So she's not fighting you in any way?
No.
Because for a while she's like, no, Mom, English.
Yeah. When she first went to preschool and I'd speak to her in Spanish at home, because I wasn't very good speaking Spanish to her until later, so that's my fault. But yeah, for the first 5 or 6 months, she go, Mommy, I want you to talk normal. I'm like, Spanish is normal, it's just different. And she goes, no, then I want you to speak English.
I'm so glad she's past that age.
Yeah, no, she's past that. But yeah,
because she's quick as a whip.
For a while, though,
she should be bilingual.
for a while there, it was like, no, Mommy, I want you to speak English. Now she enjoys it, and she asks me, Mommy, how do you say this in Spanish?
Okay. So does she speak Spanish, or does she just kind of like the como se dice?
She understands a lot more than she speaks.
Okay. So she's not as vocal in Spanish.
She's not as vocal in Spanish. Like, if I ask her something in Spanish, she'll answer me back in English. But you know what? That's half the battle.
Yeah.
At least she's hearing it, and eventually she'll start speaking it.
Good.
Yeah.
Good. We have a really great group. We have a group in Ravelry that's looping about, same as our name. And we have knit-alongs going on. We have some swaps going on right now. Have you gotten yours yet?
No, I'm the second to last one, because Nettie's the last one.
Okay. So, I think...
Or Annette, sorry. I just called her by her Ravelry.
I think it's at the 4th person right now. And she's ready. She just wants the address to put it back in the mail. So I'm very excited. I can't wait to see more pictures from your squeaky clean swap. And Liz is chomping at the bit to send hers off too.
Yes.
Have you picked your soap?
I have some options at home, but I'm thinking I may go buy something special because I like soaps. So, I mean, yeah, I'm kind of like Alicia. I don't collect as many soaps as Alicia, but I do have a lot.
I have a strong collection now because of Annette.
Yeah, no kidding. I do too.
I can take a break from looking for soap right now.
Me too.
And Annetta sent me a pair of soaps. One of them said charcoal face wash.
Yeah.
I'm going to check that out. I'm very excited about that. So yes, generous people in our group, go out and meet them. We have a knit-along that goes on through September, and it is Tin Can Knits.
Feel free to jump in.
Please join in. We're trying to stash down, so Liz and I are using stash yarn for all the things that we're doing in the knit-alongs in our group this year. And I don't think Annetta cares when you bought your yarn that you're going to use.
As long as it entered your house, it's stashed.
Exactly. As soon as it enters your house, it's stashed. And please stash down with us. We've had not many FOs, and she's drawing a pattern and a yarn winner for each month. So if you have something Tin Can Knits on the needle right now, whips count. It didn't have to start in August. Yeah, stash down, whip down. Do all the downs with us.
Do all the downs with us, yes.
And I think, do you have October? Who has October?
No, I think I had November, because that's...
Okay.
I don't think anyone had October, but we can think of something for October.
If anybody wants October, please let me know. This is guest hosts. We've had 2 other guest hosts so far this year. That was Bacon Fairy and Annetta. They're so very generous faces. And yeah, this is all about stash down, so we're picking the prizes from our stash yarn as the prize, and then we're also giving away patterns from time to time.
Yep.
So thank you for joining us. Thank you for participating on the boards, and we'll see you the next time.
Yep.
Until we knit again. Bye.
Bye.